Well, slow progress is still progress. As is becoming a trend with this build, I am running out of money and funds to buy things to make solid progress. Most of this stuff I can do for cheap, I already got done. You know, fuel system's pretty much done. Aside from injectors, I did finish wiring that today, so the pump's all wired in and everything down there. That's one thing that I did get done. Another thing I did a little bit of progress on was the cooling system. So I got some, got the vents ran for the overflow here. I cut the original radiator cap off and put a twist style cap on just to make it easier to fill and don't have to worry about it leaking anymore. So I can fill the radiator from that. It still has a pressure relief right there, so we don't have to worry about not having a pressure relief. But I did weld a fitting onto here to add a steam release into the tank. And then down at the bottom, you can see I made the tube that is kind of like a fill drain tube back into that side of the system. Fittings up here I had laying around, and this is the overflow tank. So this line goes into there, and this is an overflow if need be, but I mean this is pretty big capacity, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. And then I put a drain cap down at the bottom here too. Did a little bit of wiring in the back here, so I put some connector ends. So this is for the fan, this is the fuel pump wiring. There's a connector up under here too. This is going to be for the water pump, because the water pump is going to mount right down there. And then I also did a little bit of work on the steam port system up here in the front of the car too. Fitting right here, and this will go to the steam port system, which I tried welding the 4AN onto there for the steam port to come off of, but I don't really like this crossover at all. And it's all galvanized and coated, and I don't have a sandblaster or anything to really get all that off of. So welding on it without it leaking is really difficult, and it keeps developing little cracks in it. Doesn't matter if I preheat it or what. The galvanized coating is making it super difficult to weld on. I mean, you can see the discoloration in it, and that's from all the zinc coating and galvanized coating and shit like that just keeps coming up when you heat it. Tried wire wheeling it, grinding it, and it just won't clean up. So I'm just gonna order a new steam port, like a stock one off of a LS2 or LS3. They have plugs that go in the back, and then a single crossover up front with a line out that I'm just gonna plug that onto, and that should be fine. So the way this works though anyways is, you know, you have your crossover, it's like the highest point in the cooling system, and any air that builds up will get pushed up into this line, which will go into this radiator hose, or hard pipe, whatever you want to call it. So the air will go into this part of the system right here, and this is the flow of coolant through here, so that any air is going to get trapped in the top of the engine over here, will get pushed out into this hose. If we come back to the back of the car again, that goes into that hose I was just showing you, goes to this one, which I have a crossover made that goes down here. This is actually the crossover tube that goes into that. So that tube goes from down there, runs across, and then goes up into here. So any air that comes out of that steam port will get, you know, flow up this way to the top of the radiator, which it crosses over this way, and we have the steam port. So any air stuck at the top, it'll build up, and then as coolant moves through, it'll push right out into here, and then this is where the air, any air that's in the system will get trapped, and any of the coolant, excess coolant, will come out and then go back into the system, pulling the air out. Now, is this the right way to do that? I have no idea. I hope it is. You know, I looked at the way everything routes and runs, and it seems like it should work. I don't see any issues with it. If anybody's done this before and you know of a better way to do it, or see something I'm clearly doing wrong, if you could explain to me where I've done something wrong down in the comments, I would really appreciate it, because, you know, when I'm wrong about stuff, I like to know, and that's how you learn. That being said, I think it'll work. I'm not sure though. Not 100%, I'll know once I test it. I know the way I had it ran on the GTO did not work at all. So I know that. I also finally got the wipers done, so that's finished and works pretty good. So it turned out all right. Basically had to change the lengths of all the dimensions on the pickups and change the length of the rod here. You know, I tried doing a speed controller on it. Actually did a video on the wipers, so you know, I got this DC motor speed controller, which doesn't work anymore. I was trying to get it to work, and I had a little bit of electrical issues with the way the DC motor for the wipers was grounding through the chassis like it's supposed to, but I didn't think about it, and when I wired it, I basically was trying to control power ground input to the motor, which with it already having a ground to the chassis was kind of messing with the DC motor controller, and it burnt the motor out, or not the motor, it burnt the controller out, and it really was acting weird on the car, so I just pulled it off, changed some stuff around, got a really good speed setting on it. So I'll turn it on real quick. Let's see. Okay, switch is on, so I should just be able to turn the kill switch on here. And it goes through the full motion ratio and everything like that. Shut the hood, and so you can kind of see how it clears with the hood closed. So I mean, that's a pretty decent speed and, you know, good sweep of the windshield. And, you know, looking inside the car, it looks like it's going to be perfect for what I need it to do. Other than that, been running low on budget and stuff to buy. I got a couple things I need to do to finish the cooling system, get a water pump, and finish that steam port deal, and the cooling system's done. But I mean, the fuel system is pretty much done, cooling system's pretty much done, the wipers done. I mean, suspension is halfway there, I guess. I need to get front coilovers, modify the radius rods. In the rear, I need to get camber arms, toe arms, and then the rear suspension should be done. I still need to make an exhaust for it, build the engine, you know, cage and all that. I'm sure some people are wondering why I haven't done the cage yet. You know, I got the tube bender for it right there. But honestly, I'm kind of holding off on doing the cage till probably like one of the last things I need to do, because I'm still doing a lot of work in and out of the car. And getting in and out of a car that has a cage in it can be a real pain in the ass when you're working on it. So I figure I'll just wait until it's like 75% done, and then I'll do the cage, or at least until all the stuff I need to do on the inside is done. I still got to make a box for that, which I didn't get done this weekend. And I got this one. Goes like there. I mean, it's not on all the way. Yeah, that sits on like that, and I got the one firewall for the main center of the fuel tank, and I got to build the side plates. Once I gotta wait till the cage is done to do those ones though. Yep, slowly moving along though. I mean, slow progress is still progress. That's, you know, time and money right now is holding the build up. I mean, trust me, if I had the budget, I'd just order everything I need to finish it, and, you know, probably crank it out in like a week or two. But that ain't gonna happen, because I still need probably about a lot of money worth of parts. Anyways, just trying to keep you guys in the loop of what's going on in the build. It is moving along, but it's moving along slowly. So that's going to be it for this one. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel, and follow the build along, and I will catch you guys later.